You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Richard Franzi.
Hello and welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show. And yes, I am your host, Rick Franzi. And boy, do we have a good show planned for you today. Why do you ask? Because our guest is Ria Berger. She's the CEO of Healthy Smiles for Kids, Orange County. Ria, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you for inviting me today. It's an absolute pleasure to talk about Healthy Smiles.
So let's start with you and your path to the organization. Can you take us back in time and tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It was 2013, dead winter in Boston. I was looking out the window thinking to myself, how do I make it to the next business trip, with my job traveling 90% of the time, thinking to myself, I've been doing this healthcare executive job now for the past 25 years. And what does it mean to actually look at how can I really feel like I'm making a difference, personally and professionally? And lo and behold, that's when a headhunter called me right then and there and said, hey, you want to come home to Orange County? How's the weather treating you in Boston? And then she said, there's this sweet little nonprofit called Healthy Smiles for Kids of Orange County, and they're looking for a CEO. And I haven't looked back since, and I haven't worked since because I'm in love with my job. And when they say, when you love what you do, it's not really work.
So it really was timing, wasn't it? You painted a very vivid picture of where you were, maybe emotionally and mentally, when the call came in.
Yes.
Had you heard of Healthy Smiles before?
No, I haven't. My prior background had always been in hospital administration. I've worked for one of the two largest healthcare systems in the States. So I haven't really connected the whole oral health is health. I've always looked at it like health is medical until Healthy Smiles really opened my eyes to all the wonderful things that this nonprofit is doing.
So she said, do you want to come home? Did that mean literally come back to Orange County? Are you from Orange County?
That's right. Went to SC, lived in Irvine, and it was time to come home. So really, really pleased about that move.
Yeah, you can really appreciate living in Orange County when you have the opportunity to live somewhere else for at least one season cycle, at least 1 year where you get to see all the seasons, which people miss so much. But
Exactly.
Yeah, not so much in the dead of winter in some place like Boston, I'm sure. So let's talk about Healthy Smiles for Kids, Orange County. Tell us about the organization. Clearly would like to know the mission, who you're serving. So let's spend a little bit of time understanding and exploring your organization.
Sure. Thank you, Rick. So our mission is to improve the oral health of children in Orange County through collaborative efforts directed at prevention, outreach, education, access to treatment, and advocacy. We've been around since 2003. The founder, bless him, his name's Jack Shaw, and his first nonprofit was actually right after 9/11. He was one of the principals at one of the top accounting firms working in New York, moved to Orange County. His wife was asked to actually sponsor a kid to go to college. And he had no orientation about nonprofit or charity work at all. And he was like, I'm really interested about getting to know a little bit about this kid who's going to be going to college. So he later on wrote a book about it called 1 Square Mile Radius. But what happened was he realized this kid, it's a far cry from teaching this kid how to even learn how to speak English. And it's 1 square mile away from the ocean in Huntington Beach. And he got immersed into the community and said, we got to learn how to help these kids. First, learn how to speak English, rent a school bus, get some public school teachers. And it was the first time that these kids, one weekend, they took them right on Huntington Beach area and taught them, English. And it became a weekend thing for all these volunteer kids and volunteer parents and volunteer, teachers to help this community. His second nonprofit, because now he's in love with everyone there, was medical. So it's like, gosh, Doctors Without Borders, you don't have to look very far. He did it in Orange County. And the third nonprofit is Healthy Smiles for Kids for dental. Same concept. Getting the whole community. By then, he figured out how to connect the dots, get business, foundation groups, families, and a lot of tobacco tax was funneled through the program. And we started with a $20 million catalytic funding. Wow. And we got ourselves affiliated with Children's Hospital of Orange County and USC residency program for the pediatric dental specialty. And it's been 20 years since. We have served more than 1 million children and families through our services.
So why the focus on healthy dental health? Why that area? What is the significance?
I'll tell you what was my defining moment. When I switched from hospital administration and focusing on just medical, and as I was doing my rounding on my first week on the job, I hopped on our mobile unit to go to a school. I met George. George is this jovial kid. And I thought, I'll pick on the class clown because then I'll get the popularity vote this way. And we were doing our sealants and fluorides and cleaning and education. We had a tooth fairy there to tell them about how to brush their teeth. So I asked George, I said, George, how often do you brush your teeth? And he's like, never. And everybody started laughing. And I said, okay, George, how many siblings do you have? He said, 2. I said, how often do they brush their teeth? And he said, never. I'm like, okay. Then I asked him, I said, George, how about your parents? Do they own a toothbrush? And he looked at me straight-faced and he said, are we going to be in trouble? And it was that moment, it clicked for me that this kid was telling the truth. And here we are, right here, right now, 2013 in Santa Ana, in Orange County, and there's a kid with his entire family not even knowing about oral health, let alone even owning a toothbrush in their homes. And I remember sitting in the car calling my husband that day, and I said, we don't have to look very far. Here we are in Orange County, and there's like a misnomer, right? Everybody's got straight teeth, white teeth, glossy magazine ads. You live on the coast, you're in Orange County. And right here, right now, there's that kid. So I spoke to my leadership team the following day, and I was like so gutted. I said, do you know the story of George? Let me tell you, I was so compelled by this. And my leadership team said, oh yeah, that just happened to us 2 days ago. And 3 days ago in Anaheim, and a day ago in Garden Grove. That was my first week on the job. And that's when I realized we've got a lot of good work ahead of us. And
so are you finding the need to be in underprivileged communities, or is it in other areas of Orange County as well?
Yes, we focus our services to all the underserved communities in Orange County. Primarily because, to me, oral health is health. When they don't even know that there are 14 sugar packets in a soda pop. And it's all about nutrition. And it's all about having the right choices. Then you get into, okay, how do you brush 2 times a day for 2 minutes? There's a huge disconnect, and it should all be put together. That's why Healthy Smiles is about prevention, outreach, education, and treatment. We'll talk about treatment for a second.
Yeah, let's.
So we have 3 dental chairs at the main hospital at Children's Hospital of Orange County. And we have 13 chairs at our main clinic. But in addition to that, we have 5 mobile units that are fully licensed dental clinics that go to all these community sites. We have 200 schools that we have contracts with throughout Orange County. And then just right around before the pandemic, 2 years before the pandemic, we launched Teledentistry at a time when people were saying, how can you do telehealth in dental, right? And we said, there's a lot of work that that you can do with that because you can triage. You can actually have someone open their mouth and you can take a picture on your iPhone and someone can, a doctor, a dentist can look at it and say, this is a totally impacted, gum, and we need to make sure we prescribe antibiotics first before we can even send that kid to a dental clinic. Or it could be this is so highly impacted and totally infected that this requires an emergency room at CHOC and we'll meet the kid there. So there are a lot of things that we can do with telehealth. Sure enough, pandemic happened. Only 5% of the clinics nationwide remained to be open. Healthy Smiles was one of them because we take care of the sickest of the sick and we are their last resort. Rick, do you know that the number one emergency room visits for kids is actually dental?
No, I did not know that. I thought it would be sports-related injuries or something.
It's not asthma, it's not diabetes, but it's kind of, you're close. It's a sports injury related thing. So during the pandemic, parents were spending more time on how to teach their kids how to ride the bike or, learn how to use a scooter properly, or kids just going silly and jumping off the beds and falling down. So you've got the accidents that happen, right? And then you also have the wider spectrum of kids who have not been seen because all the clinics were shut down. So an infection is an infection. It just gets worse through time. It's a hidden disease. So by the time you have like a facial cellulitis, you end up in the emergency room. And guess what? None of the hospitals actually offer dental services. So they all are referred to Healthy Smiles.
So you said dental health is kind of health. Are you seeing what are you seeing as far as you kind of talked about one of the conditions that may happen from neglect, but are there other illnesses that can happen in a child that maybe isn't in their mouth, but it's caused by or contributed to by poor dental health?
Yes, a lot of those issues around poor nutrition, making the wrong choices, oral health, hygiene, knowing how to brush your teeth, knowing how to floss. It could be genetics sometimes. Some people are just absolutely acidic and they could be really doing a lot of good oral health hygiene practices, but they just need to see the dentist a little bit more often than others.
Do you get a sense for once you expose children to proper dental health that it sticks?
It actually sticks. And you know what we've done during the pandemic? Not only are we taking care of the sickest of the sick and, children who got into accidents or the most, infected tooth decay ever, but we also do a lot of like Zooms. It's actually the schools kind of like figured, wow, you have more participation from parents and children attending the tooth fairy session. And what's interesting? Because we've been in their schools and they're familiar with how we look in our mobile unit, they actually trusted us to go treat them in a community site when the schools were shut down. And then when we promote, hey, come and join us for a Zoom or a webinar about education, they kind of go, oh, is it the tooth fairy who will talk to us? And we say, yes, of course. And the funny thing is their questions are around, how does a tooth fairy go through the window? Or why is my friend getting $5 for a tooth and why did I only get $1? It's so funny. But it's that engagement. We talk to them about the fun part and the play part, and then we talk to them about the importance of it.
Is there an age range that you're focused on at Healthy Smiles?
We see kids from 0 to 20 years old is the definition of
young adults.
Pediatric care, right. And it could be 0 because I'm talking about babies with cleft palate and preparing them for like a surgery so they can breathe and chew and eat. We take care of all of them.
Do you find that when you have one child in one family who gets it, do they also help their siblings and maybe even their parents to understand the importance?
So George is one of my success stories. When George was brought into our clinic, he brought in his mom and his grandma. And next thing you know, they got so involved about how we do and what we do that they became our promotoras. So they started educating their neighborhood and their friends, and the dad started volunteering to do like fitness, classes in the afternoons on a Saturday for some of our parents. So it's a whole community that's really, once they get it, they're
Hmm.
with us. I just met, seriously, a lady just the other day. She's got 9 kids. And she said she's been going to Healthy Smile since her firstborn. Her firstborn's now 18 years old. Her ninth kid is like 3 years old. And I said, I want to do a human interest story of just you and your
Right.
9 children.
So it takes money, Ria, to do the good work that Healthy Smiles for Kids Orange County is doing. Talk to me about your upcoming fundraising event, your Christmas fundraiser. Give us some more
Yeah.
understanding of what's going on for you.
We love Christmas because people are very generous and it's in the spirit of giving. And we do a lot of toy drives. So if a company wants to actually like have a toy drive, we will drop off our boxes and, give me like 5, 10 minutes to talk about what we do at Healthy Smiles to promote toy drives. And the toys are given to the kids who come back during their follow-up checkups.
Hmm.
They're cavity free, they get a toy. And if they do that for so many times, they get bigger toys. So it's like we're like the Chuck E. Cheese of dental.
And where have you found the most success in putting your boxes for your toy drives? Any specific locations or types of
Sure.
organizations?
We get a lot of corporate, volunteers that actually say, put it in our lobby and we'll invite you for a 5-minute lunch and learn conversation with our HR department and our employees and talk about that. And then the toys start coming. So we're very excited about that.
So if there are Orange County businesses listening to the show now or in the future, and they would like to sponsor that and have a toy drive or put a
Yes,
box in their lobby, they should reach out to you, your
it would be me.
organization.
It would be R Berger, Berger, at healthySmilesOC.org.
Hmm.
Or they can also, just contact the Healthy Smiles website for, the donation box, and it will come to me.
So the organization has Orange County in its name. Are you exclusively focused on Orange County for your mission, or you go outside of Orange County?
That's a good question. Thank you, Rick, for this opportunity for us to be able to share our vision of the future. We are very, very fortunate. We've just merged with another organization called Ultimed Health Systems, which is the largest federal health qualified health center. They're a community clinic nationwide. They're an FQHC, and they have 11 dental clinics between Orange County and LA. So we are able to now replicate what we do at Healthy Smiles with all the 11 clinics and also learn best practices. And the best part is it's a medical dental integration because they also do women's health and it's urgent care and pharmacy and it's a community clinic under one umbrella. So that's a shape of things to come. And we're very, very, very blessed to actually have joined forces with them.
Do you see that as a model for growth in other areas as well?
It would be very exciting to keep on talking about that. Absolutely.
Uh-huh. All right. So one more time, Ria, if someone would like to learn about Healthy Smiles for Kids in Orange County, how do they find you online? What's your website?
Sure. The website is healthysmilesoc.org.
And if they want to find you on LinkedIn, or maybe tell us how they contact you again?
Sure. LinkedIn would be, LinkedIn/company Healthy Smiles for Kids of Orange County. Instagram is OC Healthy Smiles. If they need a donation, via online, then they can also do it at healthysmilesoc.org/donate.
Well, I want to thank John Beaver of BioLace for introducing us. He's a former guest on the show and said, you need to have Ria on the show. And so here we are. And I'm so thankful that you were able to make some time out of your busy schedule to be on the program.
Thank you for this opportunity, Rick. It's been a pleasure.
I've enjoyed it. And thank you, guests. You're listening to Orange County's longest running business talk show. Ria's show is now a part of our archives. We have over 1,400 interviews. If you're an Orange County entrepreneur or leader of a nonprofit and you would like to tell your story to our audience, then reach out to me. I'm Rick, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I on LinkedIn. Coincidentally, that's our company's website as well, rickfranzi.com. You can find our shows on any of our platforms, or it's a podcast available too. And so wherever you get your podcasts, I'm sure our show is there. It's Critical Mass for Business. And until the next time we have a chance to be together, I hope all of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.